the TARP was established with three purposes. So it gave $700 billion kitty to the Secretary of the Treasury, actually tranched out, so Paulson didn't get it all at once, for three purposes. Buy mortgages, it's exactly to your point. Buy securities related to mortgages, so that was these mortgage-backed securities and other derivative CDOs and all this mess that was going very, very badly and nobody would buy. And then third, et cetera. So what was the legislative language was something like anything else the Secretary of the Treasury deems necessary to enhance financial stability. So that was a carte blanche, anything. What did Secretary of the Treasury Hank Paulson do among those three buckets? He put $0 into buying mortgages. He put $0 into buying troubled assets relief program. They got no relief. And he put all the money he had, now much was left for Tim Geithner when he became Secretary of the Treasury, into infusing capital into banks, mostly by buying preferred stock and taking warrants and things like that. Now, was that a dumb thing to do? No, the banks needed capital badly. And the government, as I said, made a nice profit in the end on that, but it wasn't intended to make profit. It was necessary to keep the banks afloat and therefore to keep all of us afloat. But what about the other two purposes? It's not that it was a bad idea to infuse capital into banks, though, by the way, politically it was disastrous because it made the whole thing look like a bait and switch. He came to the Congress saying, we need all this money to buy troubled assets. Congress finally reluctantly gave him the money. He didn't buy one troubled asset. That doesn't really endear you to Congress. But it was a sensible thing to do, to put the capital in the bank, but it was not a sensible thing to do to ignore the others. The Obama administration comes in and they had one false start after another. Tim Geithner, early in his tenure as Secretary of the Treasury, he was a very successful one, I might add, allocated $50 billion of TARP money. You know, out of 700. And because of the complexity and the slow starts and the administrative difficulties, only a fraction of that 50 was ever used to prevent foreclosures. So you had a twofold, in my view, error by the Obama administration. Not enough money was thrown at the problem. Footnote. In 2008, as this problem was blowing up, the foreclosure problem, I, a Democrat, but also Martin Feldstein, a Republican, and Glenn Hubbard, a Republican, published plans in the Wall Street Journal that we thought would mean 200, 300 billion to actually get your arms around this problem. We might have been way off. We were probably low, actually. But 50? I mean, no serious person thought 50 was enough, and only a fraction of the 50 was ever used. So the consequence of that is we did not prevent as many. We prevented some, but not nearly as many foreclosures as we could have, and we, the government, could have and should have. And now, finally, just to put the capstone on it and relate it to where you were, think of yourself as a home builder. You'd like to build homes, but you'd like to make money when you build homes. You've got these homes coming off foreclosure at half of construction costs, waves of them. How in the world can you build a new home and try to sell it for $300,000 when people can buy it for $150,000 after a foreclosure? And it's no mystery, given the lack of remedy, the inadequacy of remedies to the foreclosure problem, why the housing market has taken so long to come back. It's only coming back very recently.